The medical topic COVID 19 by Cassandra, Stephen, Zachary, Emily, and Justin. Have you ever been on lockdown at your house along with the rest of the country? Certain parts of the country were shut down and people were encouraged to stay home. Following quarantine, people are asked to wear masks when they leave their house. Can you imagine having to wear a mask in stores, restaurants, or even a bank? COVID 19 is a new virus in the world that first surfaced in China. Corona is an illness mainly caused by a virus that can spread from person to person. You can also get the virus by touching a surface, then followed by touching your eyes, mouth, nose, or ears. The symptoms can range from mild or no symptoms to severe illness. Because the symptoms vary and the antibodies work differently with everyone, the virus can be deadly. The United States reported over 2 million confirmed cases from COVID 19 and a little over 120,000 deaths. Unfortunately, there is currently no cure or vaccine to prevent this global pandemic. For that reason, we need to prevent it, stop it, and cure it. In today's world, the current medical topic, COVID 19, has negatively affected the population of the world in various ways medically, economically, socially, and psychologically.
Hi, I'm Steve McNally. Never before in our nation's history has a pandemic or a virus affected our economy so much as the COVID-19 pandemic has. I'm going to go over some specifics on how this pandemic has affected our country. I'd like to start by talking about the forced closure and how it has affected people. A lot of small businesses will not be able to withstand a closure of this magnitude. According to Womply.com, 55% of small and local business owners say their business wouldn't survive if sales stopped for 1 to 3 months. 21% said their businesses wouldn't even survive 1 month. With their businesses closed and having no other form of revenue, many employers are forced to lay off or terminate some of their employees. According to the Labor Department, the number of people on unemployment was 7.1 million in March. ScottScoop.com posted that the unemployment rate here in the United States is now 4.4%. As you can see here by this graph, there has been a drastic spike in unemployment due to the COVID-19 pandemic in the last few months. The pandemic is also forcing a lot of companies to go out of business. According to a study by researchers at Harvard University, economists project that 100,000 small businesses have permanently closed their doors since the COVID-19 pandemic rose in March. Some industries have been more negatively impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic than others. Here's a list of some that have been hit the hardest. Since the CDC has banned patrons from being inside of bars and restaurants, it makes the restaurant business one of the most negatively impacted in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Many restaurants are still open for takeout only, but this is significantly cutting into their usual profits. This loss of revenue is forcing many restaurants and bars to cut back on employees, and some of which are still not able to stay afloat. To put into perspective just how badly restaurants have been affected by the pandemic, Fortune.com says that the food and beverage sector accounts for 60% of the jobs lost in March alone. Casinos typically have people in close quarters that are often coming and going and touching a lot of the same items. The social distancing procedures that are outlined by the CDC basically made it impossible for casinos to stay open. All of the closings of the casinos has undoubtedly cost them millions of dollars. The sports industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, but they are also not immune from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. If and when sports do come back, they will not be able to have fans in the stands. This is a lot less revenue for owners because of all the loss of concessions and ticket sales. If the seasons do not come back, then owners stand to lose a total of $2.2 billion combined in lost TV revenue if they do not have a product to be televised. There also have been many restrictions placed on travel. This has caused an alarming number of flights to be canceled, and this is also impacting the airline industry very negatively. USAToday.com posted that the International Air Transportation Association projects the U.S. and Canadian airline industry combined could stand to lose as much as $21.1 billion in revenue because of the pandemic. Many businesses and individuals are depending on government financial aid to try and make it through this tough time. WashingtonPost.com reported the Senate passed a $2.2 trillion stimulus package to help lessen the financial burden of the pandemic. $100 billion of the stimulus money went to hospitals to help them accommodate the influx in patients they are receiving due to the coronavirus. Small businesses can apply for a $10,000 loan that does not need to be repaid through the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. This is money that can help small businesses stay afloat and try and weather this storm. Despite the government's best effort to provide people with some financial aid, many Americans find themselves struggling to make ends meet. Many Americans are having trouble paying their bills and mortgages while they wait for their unemployment benefits to kick in. As supplies dwindle, prices are going up. Forbes.com wrote that around the country, grocery and convenience stores have empty shelves as Americans stock up on supplies and food in response to the global pandemic. Money spent on food and supplies increased by 88% from 2 weeks ago, going from $335.65 to $631.06. Many people are dealing with their financial instability by dipping into their savings. Forbes.com says that a survey of 1,000 people showed that 51% had to dip into their savings or emergency fund. 63 of those polled said that they were worried about running out of money in their accounts. Hello, this is Stephen McNally again. No one can really say with any certainty how long this pandemic will last. Many experts think that it could have a second wave, or possibly even a third wave. That's if it even really calms down at all. The numbers seem to be slowing, but there's really no way to be certain. I, for one, am wondering how much longer we will have to wear these masks out in public to the grocery stores and to our places of employment. To try and prevent the spread, medical professionals are still urging people to stay at home when they can, or if they have to be out, practice social distancing and, again, wear a mask. The COVID-19 pandemic has also negatively affected our economy. Individuals and businesses alike are struggling to stay afloat. Again, the numbers seem to be trending in the right direction, but if this continues, who knows how long they're going to be able to hang on. There has also been a social impact as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Many people are unable to connect the same way with their friends and loved ones. Senior citizens especially are impacted because of the risk of infection and having no one to visit them. The COVID-19 pandemic has also affected people psychologically. There seems to be a negative trend. Paranoia about contracting the disease is setting in and impacting people's psyche. In conclusion, our nation has never faced anything like the COVID-19 pandemic. It has affected us medically, economically, socially, and psychologically.